What is going on, beautiful people? Let me switch this camera up for a second. Type in the chat, hey, if you can see me and if you can see what is going on. We're gonna be right live smack dab and show you everything behind the scenes because that's just what we have to do sometimes. There you go. Just turn that off and on. Uh, we're doing a couple things. Okay, me and Andrew are hosting an event right at this moment for our mastermind downstairs, and we just split up. So I can do this live, and Andrew can still lead the amazing people downstairs. So a lot of you guys are actually here in person. Boom, there you go. Awesome. So today we're going to be talking about how to get more done without burning out. We're going to talk about how to operate at a higher level and really what that means for you, your business, your family, and everyone else around you. Because you, as the business owner, when you have a vision for what you want to create, it is up to you to get the work done. It is up to you to build the team. It is up to you to set the culture. So how do we make sure that on this live stream that you're able to take away the formula to become the best version of yourself, to become the best operator you can be, and really every single day start building towards the vision that you want? So type in the chat, hey, I want to know who's here. This is a special episode where it's just going to be myself. Andrew's leading on the other side. And that's actually something I want to talk about is partnerships. And we'll go into that a little bit later. So we're going to go over 5 bullet points. I want you to take massive amounts of notes. These are things that one-on-one I would go with you. I would talk to you about. I would help you develop by asking you a lot of questions. But I'm kind of going to skip all that. And I'm just going to go really deep into the nitty gritty that helps you say, I know what to do. I know how to operate. I know how to spend my time at the highest level and make sure that the time that I'm putting into my business is being utilized for stronger revenue, right? To create a better culture, to build a better team so I can win back my time. So the first thing that we're going to cover, guys, is write it down, type it in the chat, the 80-20 rule. 80-20. So there's this principle called the Pareto's principle, which essentially means that 80% of results come from 20% of actions. So if you look at the highway, there's a huge highway that I can see right here. 80% of those accidents happen on 20% of the highways. 80% of the money that you're going to make is going to come from 20% of the deals that you do. 80% of wealth is created by 20% of people. So that principle is something I want you to take in and internalize all the way down from these big examples, all the way down to today, right? Today, what are the 20% of actions that you can do that will result in 80% of the results that you create? For example, when you're looking at deal acquisition, what are the things that I can do to make sure I get more deals? What are the things I could do to make sure that I create more revenue? It's probably going to be a sales call, or it's going to be a negotiation, or it's going to be a follow-up. So you make sure that throughout the day that you're doing that 20%. Where else can you find that in your life? When it comes to your fitness, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to everything in your life, can we use this 80-20 rule? When I was first learning to work out, my trainer taught me the 80-20. He said, Leo, you're young and you want to start working out and you want to start getting in shape. I don't want you to go in the gym and start doing all these crazy things that everyone else is doing. I want you to focus in on doing the 80-20. Do the 20% that will give you 80% of the results that you want. For me, I was so scrawny, I was so skinny, I was so fragile and weak when I was in high school that I just wanted to look bigger. That's all I wanted. I wanted to look bigger so I could stand up against the bigger kids in high school, and that's literally all I wanted. So we said, okay, now that you know your goal, when we go to the gym, we're going to focus on that 20%. We're going to focus on the compound lifts. We're going to focus on a bench press. We're going to focus on a shoulder press. We're going to focus on squats. And you're just going to dial in on those. You don't have to focus on all the other crazy things right now. You can just do those. And what I did, I would go to the gym every single day and I would focus on those. And I would get stronger in my bench. I would get stronger in my shoulder press. And what happened was 3 months later, my shoulders get a lot bigger And I'm feeling this confidence that relayed into every other aspect of my life. When it comes to your fitness, that can also be the 20%, right? The 20% that creates 80% of the results. I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again so it drills into your brain, because if you yourself are confident, if you yourself have this energy to be able to walk up to someone, shake their hand, say, hey, how are you? How are you feeling? And you're able to do these things. You're able to speak on stage. You're able to make content. That's going to create so much results for you and your revenue and your family, and do so much where if you didn't have that 20%, you would have to work a lot harder. So that's number one, guys. It is the Pareto's principle of 80-20. And what I want you to do is something that me and Andrew taught each other is today, every 30 minutes on a piece of paper, write down what is it that you did? Where did you spend those 30 minutes? Because you'll find out, like I found out, wow, 30 minutes social media, 30 minutes social media, 30 minutes social media, 30 minutes a call, and then 30 minutes watching TV, and then 30 minutes eating, and then 30 minutes doing things that were not necessary, doing things that were not beneficial to those 80% of the results. So I started to see how much time I was wasting on any given day, and that changed my life forever. So as you guys do this, you're going to start to realize, where is your time going, and where can I make sure I'm doing those 20% actions? I'm doing those sales calls. I'm going to the gym. I'm reaching out to a friend and saying, hey, I'm thinking about you, right? Or you support someone else's small business. You support someone else's big business. You do these things that consistently create those big results that we look for in our lives. And then we no longer have the option to have an excuse to say, my business is not growing. It's not growing fast enough. I'm not having the right relationships. I'm not making the right amount of money, because this is a simple principle that allows you to break through all the noise and break through all stagnancy. So that's number one. There's actually here's a Bible verse that says right here, and I want to break it down here, and I want to ask you guys what it means, because I think I know what it means in my life, but I'm always learning every single day. But it says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. It's Matthew 5:37. And to me, a lot of your work, a lot of your responsibility, a lot of your great actions are going to come by saying no to a lot of other things. And I had this philosophy one day where if it's not a absolute yes, it's a no, right? If it's not an absolute yes, I'm so down for it, this is going to be great for my business, or I'm going to have so much fun doing this, then it's a no. Because why else would you half-ass go do something? Why would you go to an event if you kind of don't want to go, right? Because at the whole time during the event, you're going to be like, did I make the right choice? Why jump into a relationship if it's not an 1,000% yes? I love this person. I'm ready to jump in. Because the whole time in your mind, you're going to be thinking, is this a good fit? Should I have made that right choice? Same thing with your no's. When you say no to something, you say yes to something else, right? Everything you do, every decision you make is going to lead to a certain result. If I say no to a certain food that's not going to be good for me, and I say yes to a better meal, a more nutritious meal, I'm saying yes to a life of fitness. I'm saying yes to a life of feeling better. I'm saying yes to no brain fog, right? But if I choose to eat that, then you're saying yes to brain fog. You're saying yes to feeling lethargic. You're saying yes to feeling just not good about yourself. So understand that when it comes to a yes, guys, make sure it's an absolute yes, I'm in. And then when it's a no, stick to that no and know the repercussions that happen because of the no, or the benefit because of it. Okay? So we went over a lot in number one, but I want to jump into number two. Number two is, write it down, energy management, or write it down, energy over time. Energy management over time management. I've had to learn the hard way that productivity is not just about hours worked, it's about managing your energy for peak performance. For example, I have this scheduled out, of course. I have this live scheduled out, but what's more important for me is how I manage my energy on this live. I spent the past hour before this getting my energy up. I prioritize the people around me that can give me energy. I make sure that I'm not around people that take away my energy. Because what's going to be more important for this live show as we start to get thousands and thousands and thousands of people in the very near future on this show, what's going to be more important is not necessarily the hours I put into preparing the show. It's going to be more my energy that I show up with, because that is what people remember. People are never going to remember what you say. They're going to remember how you made them feel. So I really want you to think about that. When it comes to your energy, this is what separates you on stage. This is what separates you on a phone call. This is what separates you on content. It's the energy that you bring on a day-to-day basis. People remember you for your energy. So yes, it's so important to have time blocks to say, okay, I wake up at 6 and then at 4 p.m. I'm doing this meeting. At 4:30 I go to this meeting, and at 5 I do this. But what's the point if you show up with terrible energy? What's the point if you show up and the person doesn't like you because all of a sudden you had terrible things happen to you at 4 or 5 p.m. and then you just showed up with this negative energy? You don't want to do that. You want to prioritize your energy. You want to prioritize your morning routine. You want to prioritize the water that you drink, what you take into your body. Yesterday, I forgot to eat. I had a little bit of vegetables in the morning, and I had a really, really, really busy day, and I forgot to eat, and it was 3 p.m. I look at Andrew. I was like, did you eat? He was like, no. Did you eat? I was like, no. And we're like, crap. We know that we're good right now, but in 2 hours, our energy is going to go from here to here, and we have to prep an entire event, a 4-day event today that we have to get into. And we looked at each other and said, okay, that was a mistake, but it's okay. Let's go grab some food before we go into it. So we grabbed some food, and we know our bodies so much, we know our minds so much, where if we eat something, that energy is going to come in 45 minutes. So we still have to drag out for 45 minutes to make sure that we're good so we can take care of our work. But what I'm trying to say is that, number one, that awareness is so important. Know that, hey, if I don't eat, my energy is going to go down. If I don't give myself fuel, my energy is going to go down. And if I eat, I'll probably have energy in 45 minutes. Or if I drink coffee, I'll have energy in 20 minutes, but I'm going to have a crash in 55 minutes. So then you can make your decisions so much better upon everything that you eat, everything that you do, all the things that you watch. Everything leads to another. So the basis of what I'm talking about in this entire live stream is about awareness and studying yourself. You should be studying yourself like a book every single day. You should be reading yourself in the present. That's why we journal. We journal in the present so we can get our thoughts down on paper. And then we look back to the journal 3 years later, for example, to the journal 3 years ago, and we study what is different between now and 3 years ago. And then within 3 years later, we study that. Who do we want to be? Where do we want to get to? Then you can look at your 2 journals from the past 3 years and say, okay, because of this data, because I used to like this and this and this, now I like this and this and this. Or whenever I ate this for the past year, it gave me this type of energy. Or whenever I drank coffee, I always crashed at this hour. What if you knew that type of information about yourself on any given day? Could you make such better decisions on anything that you do, on the friends that you keep around, on the food that you eat, on the music that you listen to? I know the music I listen to, for example, the past 2.5 days, I've listened to just worship music because I've been listening to rap for the past week before, and all of a sudden my minds are in different places. And I did it to get myself more hyped in the gym because I know it did that, but then I let the addiction continue of listening to music that does not allow my mind to be in a good place. But because of the awareness, I say, okay, let's get back centered. Let's get back to a place where I want to keep my eyes fixed on God. It's a big, big, big part of me to do that. And I have the awareness that music is what's going to bring my eyes there, right? The music I listen to, the people I hang around, the words that I speak outwardly, you can see it, you can feel it. So this is where energy management is so important. Yes. Schedule your tasks. Who is this, Andrew? Hey, Michelle. Say hi to Michelle and Andrew.
What's up? Hello, everybody. I know you're in awesome hands today and having a lot of fun. Just wanted to pop in and say hello to you.
How's your energy?
Really good. Really good. We just had an incredible few hours down there. Dan answered a bunch of questions. Our friend Dan Fleischman, for anybody listening who knows Dan, go check him out. He's awesome. And yeah, the Mastermind crew, we're just having a blast, man. How's the energy up here in the cool setup, man? I love this.
It's doing good. We're talking about energy management right now.
Cool.
So back to the topic. Yes, schedule in your tasks that you have to do, because you and I both know you have to get your work done. You have to get your tasks done. You have to do the things that your business needs you to do. But what if we put a little bit of a twist to it? What if we start scheduling those tasks, those high priority, high octane tasks, in the times that we have the most energy? For example, for myself, peace, at 11 a.m., I have the most energy. Like I'm rocket fuel on. It's a moment before the live stream. That's why typically on the live stream I have so much energy. So I know from 11 to 1, I have to do my highest octane tasks. That's going to be output, like I'm doing here with you guys. That's going to be doing my high level meetings. That's going to be doing a writing session that I need to be in the highest state of mind in. So I'll make sure to put those tasks in from 11 to 1. And then I know I eat from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. So I'm going to be a little bit groggy from 2 to 2:45. So I'm not going to put a meeting in that time. But guess what happens, guys? As you start to really prioritize your energy and the work that you do, days just feel like this. You flow. You become your own personal assistant, where the person says, Leo, you know you get groggy during that time. Don't put a meeting there. I'm not going to put a meeting there for you. So don't do it for yourself. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned over the years being an entrepreneur, is that you have to be your greatest personal assistant, because you know your body the most. You know what you eat. You know your patterns. You know when you like to go to the gym. You know all of these things more than anybody else. So prioritize that energy. It's number 2. This is good. Let me read the comments. Hey, Marlon, Elizabeth, Roberta, Marilyn, Judith, Mimi, Tammy. Hello. Awesome, guys. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this and that you're getting a lot. This is one of those ones where you just take a lot of notes and you just take a lot of it away and you use it today. Okay? Type in the chat yes if you're enjoying this, if you're enjoying this format, because for the next 4 days, it's just you and me, and I'm just coaching you, and we're just having a great conversation. I'm answering your questions because Andrew is hosting this event. And what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to get off the stage and then put this camera up and hop on with you guys. But guess what? It's happening from 11 to 1. It's within my energy management where I have the highest energy. So I can do that. And right after I do the live, I eat and I take a little bit of a break and I go back on stage. So that's what the next couple of days are looking like. All right. Number 3, type it in the chat. EDR. EDR. I just made that up. EDR is eliminate distractions ruthlessly. So I know that my biggest enemy, I'll just leave it at that. My biggest enemy is the fact that I have social media and I have a world of distractions out there that can take away my attention on any given day at any given moment. And studying myself as an entrepreneur, I've seen the things that have taken my attention away the most. My phone, women, television, music, all these different things. But because I know that, I understand how important and how vital it is for me to keep my attention where I need to be at, to keep my eyes fixed on God, to keep my eyes fixed on the prize, on the mission. And when you do that relentlessly, you also remove distractions relentlessly. And what does that mean, guys? What does that conversation look like? When you know what it is that you want and the direction that you want to go in your business. For example, you're very likely an entrepreneur who wants to build a business that pays you very well so that you can travel, so that your children, so that your family does not have to worry financially. You want to provide financially. You want to be a leader, or you want to have a great family and a great team of people who also do that same thing, who also help provide, who also help lift you up. And with that, we have to understand what is required for that. All the people who have such things, all the people who have that privilege of leading a business in that way, also have the massive, massive responsibility of leading themselves with massive discipline. All the people I know who have this type of life that I look up to, I respect them because of the amount of respect that they have for themselves. The highest level of self-respect is discipline. The highest level of self-love is discipline. Because if I love you as a person, I want you to win, I'm not going to let you skip 4 workouts in a row. I'm not going to let you eat that terrible food that's going to make you feel groggy, because you need that for your next meetings. And those next meetings are going to get you to that next level in your business. I'm not going to let you fail by eating that wrong thing. And why do I look at it in that way? You know, I had a lot of friends back in high school who said, Leo, you take everything too seriously. And to be honest, I did. I didn't eat something that everyone else was eating because I knew my energy wouldn't be in a right place for a call that I had to do, for a sales call that I had to take care of, so I can get myself out of a rut, out of a situation, so that I can level up. A lot of people around you, it's not that they don't want to level up, it's that they don't know about that lifestyle and they don't choose that lifestyle for themselves. And it's nothing against them, but it's that you chose a lifestyle of growth. And that takes a lot of responsibility, because if you're growing, everyone around you is forced to grow as well. And I really want you to sit back for a moment and take that responsibility as we go over this topic of eliminating distractions, because that is going to be the number one thing that holds you back besides yourself, is the distractions that are around you. If you pick up your phone, if you look at this device that we have right here, we've made millions of dollars off of this device. But it's also the same device that has lost me and Andrew millions of dollars year after year. And why do I say that? Is because our multiple businesses, me and Andrew, we own 34 properties together. We own multiple Airbnbs together. We've built multiple businesses together, education company. We've built a great community of incredible people who are doing deals consistently. We've created millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of value from just doing that. And that was from our phone, having conversations with people, making content, creating sales funnels, having business meetings with JVs. All these things mixed together was because of this phone. But guess what else? We've had days where our attention was taken away from us because of that phone. Social media, Facebook, Reels, TikTok, all these things, they take our attention away. And guess what? In that time that it took away, let's just say 5 hours a week it took away from us. That's a lot, but 5 hours a week it took away from us. That's 5 hours a week away from our business, away from our development deal that we're doing, away from the Airbnbs that we're doing, away from the properties that we're building, away from the community, away from content. And if we understand how much this can do for us and how much it can take away, then it should be one of your biggest priorities this year to take control over that phone. If I want to go on Instagram right now, I have to go through 4 loopholes in order to get there. And I wish I could say, guys, I'm so disciplined, Instagram's there and I could just hop on, I'll get off whenever I can. But I'm against a huge corporation that puts billions and billions and billions of dollars every single year to study how to keep you on the app and how to keep you going. And my content, I have to make content that keeps you watching. And all these other creators, they have to do the same thing because it's the game. And if I know that, I'm not going to go against billions of dollars worth of research. Instead, I'm going to put 2 or 3 blockers up there for me where it'll tell me if I'm on for 5 minutes, it'll snap and say, sorry, Leo, it's been 5 minutes. You have to go through these 4 loopholes in order to touch it again. And that's the only thing that for myself, knowing myself, has been able to keep me off of these apps. And because I use it on a daily basis, because I post, because we create community off of there. But do you see the intention behind eliminating distractions? I see it the same as going and creating a business and going and putting a lot of output in to create revenue in your life. Because just like we've made millions of dollars, again, we've lost millions of dollars because of the distractions. But sometimes we don't see it that way. We see it as just something, it's just something we have. Everyone else is distracted. And that's the point. It gets so easy when you are someone that cannot be distracted, when people can't take your attention away. Can you believe that? Can you imagine being someone where you're so focused on God and you're so focused on your business and on you and your family and the good things that you're going to do for other people, where social media does not tap into your brain? Algorithms don't tap into your brain. News reports, none of it taps into your brain. That's the biggest thing that changed my life. So, number 4 is going to be leveraging accountability and mentorship. So, this is really good because this absolutely shifted my mentality around what it meant, what brotherhood meant, what accountability meant, what mentorship meant to me. Because me alone, I can only do so much. But when you put me and Andrew together, we can create an absolute empire. That's what we've done together. We paired up as brothers, as partners, to create an empire. But if he ever falls down, I'm right here to pick him back up. If I ever fall down, he's right there to pick me up. And if you can find that in your life, guys, if you can find someone that says, Leo, don't eat that. Why would you eat that? Or Leo, you've been on social media for, 30 minutes? What are you doing? Right? And it comes from love. That is one of the greatest things that you can create. Now, how do you create that? You have to be someone that is able to keep the other person accountable first. And you do that by starting by keeping yourself accountable. There was a time in my life where I would get up, I would wake up at 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. I didn't know what else to do, so I would just get up out of bed. I had finished high school. I basically left my high school. And I was in a season of my life where, hey, I could do whatever I want. I don't need to do it. I don't need to work right now. I'm living at home, right? I can be as lazy as I want to be. And those were the most sickening 6 days of my life. It only lasted 6 days. 6 days of my life of going through a season of just nothingness. I was adding no value. I was not growing at all. I was not learning. I was not doing anything productive for myself. And instead, I was just sitting there and rotting away, because if you're not growing, you're dying. That's something I've always learned. If you are not growing, if you are not looking at the aspects of your life and saying, hey, how can I get a little bit healthier? How can I improve my friendships? How can I make sure to clean up my house and make sure my house is in a strong place where if a storm comes around, I'm in San Diego, no storms, but if a storm comes around, we're good. If I'm not doing that, then I'm being withered away by the world and being withered away by the natural ebbs and flows of what happens to people. So in those 6 days, I realized that, wow, I am not anywhere near close to the word discipline. I was letting anything happen to me. I was eating whatever I wanted. I started to feel terrible every single day. And that's the day I noticed, hey, Leo, you have no money in your bank account. You have no real friends. You don't really like yourself. You look in the mirror and you don't like yourself. You're not learning anything. You're not adding value to anyone. You just feel terrible. So I took that wake-up call that I got to myself. I looked in the mirror and I just said all these things to myself. And I said, what do I need to fix? What do I need to change? How do I start doing that today? Because I needed more people around me. But I didn't have that because I didn't even respect myself. So how can I expect anyone else to respect me? So that's the day I said, you know what? I read a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. Everyone type in the chat, The Miracle Morning. This book single-handedly changed my life forever because I learned the discipline it takes every single morning to get up and work and create a better life. I learned what it means to take full control over my life by taking control of the one thing that you're promised every single day, and it is a morning. And for me, I was wasting that morning day after day after day after day after day until I read this book and I learned, hey, if you wake up at the same time and get your mind back in that place, everything's going to change. You're going to prime yourself. You're going to prime yourself towards a vision that you want. What do you want? I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know the relationship that I wanted. I didn't know the business that I wanted. I didn't know the body that I wanted. That's why I was just rotting away and letting the world take me wherever it wanted to take me. So that week, I sat down and I wrote down everything that I wanted. I wanted to own real estate. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to be stronger. I wanted to be a man of charisma. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be a great husband, a great father one day. I wanted to do all these things. And I wrote it out. And I just asked myself, what would I need to do every day in order to have that reality? And I started to do those things every single day. I read the books. I worked out. I talked to the right people. I went to the right events. I did the right sales calls. I did the right business models. 4 years later, I own 34 properties. I own 3 businesses that have done incredibly well over the past 2 years. I became a man, rather, that is confident in himself, that is able to have the charisma, that is able to sit in front of a camera and talk and yap for an hour about his experiences, and then go down and talk to people in his world that have been around him that he's coaching. That did not exist 4 years ago in that boy's mind. That vision did not exist until that one day I asked myself, what is it that I want and what is it that I need? And what I needed was discipline. And what I needed was a business partner. But it started with the discipline, and then I found my business partner and I kept him accountable. So that is leveraging accountability and mentorship, and really how I became that person to be able to do it, and how you can do that same exact thing. And I ask you, what is it that you want? What is it that you want in your relationships? What is it that you want in your business? Do you want to feel good in your business? Do you want to feel empowered and strong every single day? Do you want to become a charismatic person, which comes by breaking down your barriers and being able to show that authentic self? And that 7-year-old kid that would have looked at me and be like, wow, you are so cool. That 7-year-old kid is in every single one of us. And that 7-year-old kid is so charismatic because they have no insecurities. They have not been told no enough times. They have not been rejected enough times. But over time, we get rejected. A rejection here, a failure here, negativity here, the wrong people in our lives here. And all of a sudden, we start to put this clay over ourselves and we become insecure. But think back again to that 7-year-old kid and imagine him or her looking at you and being so stoked that they get to be you when you grow up, when they grow up. What if that person led the way that you talk to people? What if that person showed up as the individual that you see behind this camera? What if this person was the one that shook other people's hands, the one that led the business? That person who has no fear, no insecurity, no ill intent. Can we get back to that? A little bit of a veer off there, but it's such an important lesson that I've had to remind myself of every single day. So we have 2 more that I'm going to break down quickly here, and I just want you to take a massive amount of notes. Type in the chat, rest and reflection. And while you guys are typing in the chat, I'm going to read some of your guys' comments I see here. People are saying hi to Andrew. I'll tell him you said hi. All right. Eliminate distractions of our goals. Amanda says, make what you want to do easy to do. Make what you want to avoid harder to access. Absolutely. Les says, any tips for finding a good partnership like you guys have? Absolutely. Okay, there's a lot of comments. I will go into it in a second. Any tips for finding partnerships like me and Andrew have? Step 1, create the ideal partner in your mind. Business partner. And if you're in a place where you're single and you want to create the greatest marriage in the future, I also recommend that you do it for your future wife, future husband, whoever it is. But I did that for my dream business partner. I wrote down what are the things that I want, right, in a person, in a business partner, in a brotherhood. Is someone who is an integrator, someone who has strong loyalty, someone who has the ability to learn and is coachable, someone who likes to travel. I wrote down all these things, and now what happens, guys, is you have a filter, right? Because you're going to meet thousands of people in your lifetime. And knowing you guys watching the show, you're probably going to meet thousands and thousands and thousands of people on any given year. So you want to make sure as you're meeting people, not everyone's going to fit to be your business partner. Not everyone's going to fit to be your friend. Not everyone's going to fit to be your husband or wife. So you want to have a filter for those people and it's like lead generation, guys. It's the same thing. You want to make sure that that person that comes in, you have a filter. Okay, are they loyal? How do I know? How do I find that out? Are they strong-hearted? I wanted someone who has a strong faith in God. Do they have a strong faith in God? Hey, let's pray. I'm going to pray before my food and see how they react. All these things you can start to filter out the person to make sure you can choose the right business partner. But know that most likely the right business partner, the right husband, the right wife, whoever it is, they're probably doing the same thing to you. And as soon as you guys find that out, it's like, got it. We're on the same page. Then you can just communicate. Then you can just have a straight up conversation like, hey, this is how I feel. This is where my mind is. How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you want? And then you can get to that page a lot sooner. I just heard a cat. Anyways, power of rest and reflection. Rest is not laziness. That took me so long to learn because I always felt bad for resting. Resting is simply a tool for productivity. It's a tool for high achievers because while I'm going to be high octane for the next 2.5 hours, I'm going to have to rest. And it's going to look like a 20-minute meditation and maybe a 10-minute nap. And then I'll eat a little bit and I'm right back to it. But if I didn't do that rest in between, I was shut off by 4 p.m. But because I did that 30-minute rest at 2:30 p.m., I'm good until 7 p.m. And if I rest again at 4:45, I know I'm good till 9 p.m. So it depends on where you want to be. It depends on where you want to work until. Rest is so important and it's a tool. But if you're resting and constantly calling yourself lazy and saying, I shouldn't be doing this, I should be working, it's not going to work out for you. On the other hand, if you're resting for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours, what are you doing? Did you have and it makes sense. If you have a huge event that you're running or a big project that you just closed, that you just spent the past 26 hours straight working on that, yeah, take 6, 7 hours of work days to rest. But if you just had a day of a regular day, going throughout, doing something you normally do, to rest 6, 7 hours is an absolute waste. There has to be a rest to work ratio. Type it in the chat, actually. That's really good. A rest to work ratio. My ratio is if I'm high octane working for 3.5 hours, I need to take a rest in between there. Right? I know I can go 90 minutes of deep work. Undistracted deep work where my mind is working focused. It's fixed on the project. And I know with that, I need a 10-minute rest before I do it again. But boom, for me, 90-10, 90-10, 90-10. So for every, what's 90? What's that? 3 hours? 3, 4, 4.5. For every 4.5 hours, I need 30 minutes. Again, it goes back to studying yourself, knowing the amount of rest that you need. Now, sleep is different. Sleep is recovery. Sleep is something you need on a daily basis that will define the way that you operate. I myself, on an event day, I need at least 7.5 hours of sleep. Can I run and operate on 4? Sure. Will I be as charismatic? No. Will I be as focused? No. And if I know how expensive focus and charisma is, I'm going to go get 3 more hours of sleep. I'm trading 3 hours of extra sleep, of getting that sleep, for charisma, for confidence, for focus. Everything's a trade-off. Everything is a marketplace. Everything is a decision that you have to make. It says this in the Bible over and over and over again to make sure that you're making good decisions. We make 35 to 40,000 decisions on any given day, with 95% of those being subconscious. That's about 32,000 decisions that we make subconsciously. That's why the Bible says so much about protect your heart. What does that mean? That when we protect our heart, when we protect the decisions that we make, when we protect our mind, our subconscious mind can make those decisions for us. If you consistently say and know that you're a healthy person, you're subconsciously going to make the healthier choices. If you keep your eyes fixed on God and understand that, hey, this is the direction that I'm going with my faith, subconsciously you're going to make the right directions to make the right decisions, rather, to listen to the right music and say the right words and choose the right friendships. Everything you do is a decision. Everything you do impacts one thing or another. And it goes back, everything loops, the 80-20 rule, right? Rest and recovery. If you rest, if you sleep the amount you need to, you can focus on these things. And this comes from years and years of study, but you can start this right now by just asking yourself questions. What is it that I need to focus on? What is it that has been distracting me? What is my 20% that I can move towards to create 80% of the results? What type of business owner do I want? If there's anything that you should be doing right now, and this is me talking to my younger self, it would be to ask yourself intentional questions every single day. Ask yourself those questions, because when you ask, you get the answers. And you need those answers so you can make better decisions. This is a good topic. Last one, guys. Discipline equals freedom. The more disciplined you are, the more freedom that you're able to create. We live in a mental prison every single day for those who have not created that freedom, for those who have not created the tools to break free from negative thinking and limiting beliefs. If we know that us, as that 7-year-old kid, could have dreamed and created things and been so charismatic, what happened to that 7-year-old kid? What happened to them? Right? That's where we go into trauma and go into things that have happened to a lot of us as children. And then we put this clay over us. We start molding this clay over our gold, over our God-given talents, because all of a sudden something happened and we started saying a story to ourselves. We started saying a narrative like, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, I'm too young, I'm too old. All those things that do not serve you as a person. Whether you say you're too old or whether you say too young or not, you are correct, because that is going to hold you back. That's going to do what it's meant to do, which is be correct. If I tell myself that I'm focused and I intentionally focus in, I'm going to be correct. So I want to make sure that as we wrap around, you start to understand the foundation of this topic is discipline, which is just simply doing the hard things, doing things that right now don't feel great, but you know that it's going to transform, it's going to compound into better things. Going to the gym sometimes does not feel the best. You got to wake up, you got to go to the gym, you got to pound your muscles for a little bit. But it's going to feel a lot better in 3 months being in shape and feeling confident about your body than it is looking in the mirror and saying, wow, I don't like this person. Discipline is self-love. Self-love is saying, get your ass to the gym, do the work, eat the healthy foods, go to the doctor, see what the heck is wrong. Do the disciplined things, because that's what's going to change your life. And it's a season. You know what? Let me take that back. It is a lifestyle that you choose, not just a season. We say a lot of things are seasons, but this is a lifestyle that you choose. And there's one day that changes your life, and it's the day that you decide to live a life and lead a life of discipline. So guys, this is my talk. This is my rant. This is my spew of experiences that I've had, and really a call out to you. It's a very heartfelt call out to you to take action, to live and lead a life that is disciplined, of doing the hard things, because I promise you, your life's going to change today, your life's going to change tomorrow, and every single day after that, you're going to feel so much better about yourself, and everyone around you is going to look at you and they're going to respect you for the man or for the woman that you have become. Thank you so much. Guys, we're going to be back tomorrow at noon, 12 p.m. PST. Yeah. Or 3 p.m. EST. Same time, same place, new place. You, same place. Me, different place. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.